Let's bring in Gene Principe. Now, I always appreciate his time because he's the busiest guy in show business. Are you at the rink, Gene? Is that where you're at right now?
No, I'm at the airport, Rod. How are you? I love the RP outfit there. I feel like you were playing. What was Larry Robinson with the horses and the mallet?
Polo.
What do you call that? Polo. Thank you.
Polo.
Yes, Mark, and not Marco. Polo. You look great. No, I'm in the airport in Toronto, just connecting down to New York, getting set for the final road trip before the Christmas break, and see how the Oilers, I guess, respond after winning 8 in a row, then losing 2. It's amazing how quick things can change, with the hopes for them that it changes right back.
Well, I appreciate the time. And by the way, I think I look like a rodeo clown in this, but it's a gift from the clothing brand Whole Life here in Florida. Panthers colors, RP show. They're big fans of the show. Hey, I got to ask you this, Gene. Last week on this show, we were asking what's the best NHL team in Canada. Scott Laughlin of SiriusXM said the Oilers.
Yeah.
On cue, they lose a couple. Was it a case of being goalied by the Florida teams, or what happened those last 2 games?
I would say yes and maybe. For sure. They said it themselves after the game against Andrei Vasilevsky and the Lightning. Things were looking pretty good through 2, but they couldn't quite round it out through 3. And while their goalie, Stuart Skinner, said, hey, look at me, I'm the one to blame for the loss, you could look at the other end, and Vasilevsky was, it might be the best regular season performance I've seen I can't remember the last time I saw a regular season performance like that. There have been some playoff performances, certainly he himself, that has accomplished that were above what he did against Edmonton, but that was amazing. And then Bobrovsky certainly was very good. But I think the Oilers felt like they gave up too many goals in the first, were a bit weak defensively in their own zone, especially out in the slot area. And that was less goalied, but I would say, Rod, that you're right. When they did try and get back into it against Florida, Bobrovsky made, enough to make sure it didn't get any closer than 3-1, and the final was 5-1. So, they run in, and there's a Russian goalie who potentially could start for New Jersey. So I don't know if the Oilers have ever lost 3 straight to Russian netminders, but if he starts, we'll see. They're hoping that's not the case.
Yeah, there's something to look up for the next Oilers broadcast, I guess. Another one for you, Gino. I won't keep you long because I know that the time is tight, but we love the year-end shows. And after today's show, we're doing our year-ender. And my top 5 NHL stories are number 5, Jay Woodcroft being fired. Number 5. Number 4, Ovi's chase of 99, surpassing Gordy. Yeah. Number 3, Kyle Dubas fired, tree living in Toronto. Number 2, Vegas wins the Stanley Cup. And number 1, Connor Bedard. Am I warm? Are there any other stories that are off the top of your head?
Well, I think another Connor had virtually the best season in 16. Well, maybe not 30 years, but pretty close. So he would be a suggestion that might fit in there somewhere. But I like all those stories, and I certainly enjoyed watching Connor Bedard for the first time in the NHL. I know you've seen him before, and I had watched him a bit at the World Juniors, but that seemed a bit weird, the World Juniors at that time, maybe just because of the time of year it was going on. But I like him, he's unbelievably talented, and he's had to go through a lot already in his young career, young life, and he seems to be handling it really well. So, nothing wrong with putting a transplanted prairie boy, I guess, from the coast, who now lives in the central time zone of Chicago, as your number 1. But certainly McDavid would be up there. Vegas winning, Dubas, especially after that loss in Toronto, that's a huge story. Jay Woodcroft was still kind of reverberates a bit through, even though Chris Knobloch, who's from Imperial, Saskatchewan, has done a very nice job as head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. So I guess, Rod, at the end, it depends who you cheer for and what's important to you when coming up with your top 5. But I would not argue with the ones that you chose.
Thank you. Well, I might add, it's the Rod Pedersen show, not CNN. So these are my top 5 stories. So
Right.
Connor Ingram, by the way, from Imperial as well. They are making it the hockey capital. Write it down, Imperial, Saskatchewan. Let me ask you this: Christmas traditions for the Principes. What do you? It's not much of a break for the NHL, I know that, but what are you looking forward to? You do get one though. What are you looking forward to at the holidays?
Yeah, I remember when the Oilers, the entire NHL would play on Boxing Day. So to get the 23rd, they don't play, and then the 4th, 5th, and 6th before traveling on the 27th seems quite nice, considering many of us will flip on the television and watch, college football or the NFL or NBA. There always seems to be sports going on, so we certainly enjoy that. For us, Rod, it's Christmas Eve is no meat. 13 dishes, lots of fish and salads. And then Christmas Day is what I think a lot of people spend Christmas Day with. And, turkey and ham. My wife's German. She makes rouladen, which is a wonderful treat. And so it's a mix of heritages. We usually will try and sneak in some pasta even on Christmas Day. I guess I should say Christmas Eve. We have what's called pasta e sarde, which is pasta with anchovies. But my mom, God bless her, she knew that everybody didn't like the anchovies, so she would make some with just the regular sauce, but no meat. I remember once there were a bunch of Italian guys. We worked together at a pop store, and we all kind of took an oath that we were going to have steak. And I tell you what, all of us were scared to go home that night because we thought our moms were going to figure out that on the 24th we'd eat meat. So we kept that secret in the vault until this day, but their names will remain nameless. So that's about the only time I've ever eaten meat, on the 24th of December.
Oh, that's awesome. By the way, you Italians, a very special crew. Obviously, I love them. In Regina vernacular, the Fiaccos, our former mayor, Cartieri, my former color guy. And I can just think what the Italians in New York were going through with Tommy DeVito, the quarterback of the Giants, and that wonderful story. Yay, what a story. Were you following that?
Yeah, it's hard not to follow it. Listen, I always pull for the Italians, whether it's in sport and life, in business, as neighbors, as friends. And so to see what he's done and how he's become a cult hero already, which New York can lend itself to that. Certainly if you're a Giant and with that Italian background, I think New York has more Italians than anybody but Italy. So there's a huge fan base that would be following him and supporting him. So I love the story. I know being in New York for games against the Islanders Tuesday, the Devils Thursday, and the Rangers Friday. Not sure he would be there on Friday night to watch the Rangers, but I'll certainly ask.
Well, hey, it is a wonderful story, and I know that's a great trip, and you love it. Gene will be watching. Thanks for fitting us in, man. Merry Christmas and all the best in 2024.
Same to you, pal. Take care.
Oilers host Gene Principe from Sportsnet checking in from the airport. How about that? What a great guy. He didn't have to do that.